We have a 2009 Hyundai Elantra 16 valve double overhead cam. We're going to do an oil change on it and show you how easy it is to do. First thing you're going to do is pull the dipstick, open up the oil cap here, fill valve, to allow the air to go in when you open up the drain valve on the bottom. And we go downtown here under the car. Let's see what we got. Alright, on this car, it's real easy. Your drain valve is right here, and the oil filter is hidden under this. So we're going to take this off, and the oil filter is right here. I'm actually touching the oil filter. So we're going to put the drain pan under it, and it's a beautiful day out. It's pouring rain, as you can hopefully see. Oh yeah, here comes the rain. Another nice day in the neighborhood. Alright, got our snap-on wrench with our 10mm. Just going to go ahead and undo these 3 bolts right here. Real simple. And the oil change in this car is like a 5-minute job, as long as we don't get killed by lightning. There's one. I mean, at least you're not at the beach today, right? It sucked to be out in the boat today. We were out the other week and got caught in 5-foot seas. Okay. Obviously this storm is right overhead. Alright, so there's your cover, and your oil filter is right there. And that one's a little too tight, gotta get a wrench. Alright, we'll be right back. Get the oil drain pan down here, drain the oil, drain the filter, and we're just gonna fill it back up. Got Mr. 17mm wrench back here. Loosen that drain valve up, hand plug. Trying to get the gasket with the plug so I don't have to fish it out. Okay, I got it. Let that drain out. Take the filter off, and we'll go outside and play in the rain a little bit. Alright, while that's draining, we'll put our filter wrench on. And we're going to go ahead and loosen up that filter. Okay. Loose. Just awkward videotaping and working on this. I'd probably have this done if I didn't have the camera up here. And then there's the oil coming out of the filter. Now, a buddy of mine just changed the oil in his truck the other day, and he called me in a panic. This guy has probably, as he said, done 200-300 oil changes in his life. Now, if you look at the oil filter, I always check to make sure, first of all, that the gasket is still on the oil filter, which it is. Then, I take my rag, which of course I didn't bring down here with me. Hang on, let me get the rag. Okay, and I go up into where the oil filter goes, which, let's see if I can get some light over here. There's your oil filter mounting bracket, and I wipe that off. Now, why do I do that? 2 reasons. You want to get the dirt off of it in case there's any dirt, but you also want to make sure that the gasket is not here. And what had happened to him is the gasket had stuck to the block, and the only reason it stuck to the block was probably he didn't put some oil on it before he installed it. So the gasket baked onto this, and then it pulled off the filter. So he had a gasket here, and then he put the new filter on with the gasket. So it was gasket to gasket, and then when he started the truck, it sprayed almost 2 quarts of oil right around those two donut gaskets and just coated everything under his truck, and it just made a mess. So he called me freaking out saying, dude, thank you for that lightning bolt. He called me screaming going, dude, I'd started my truck and there was oil all over the place and I don't know what the, you know, he's going off, and you know, he's just upset. I said, did you wipe off the oil filter? No, I've never done that. I said, well, I says, just go grab the old oil filter and see if the gasket is there. And he grabbed it, and lo and behold, the gasket wasn't there. And then when he took the old filter off, well, there was a gasket, and that's what did it. So that's an important fact right there. You always want to make sure you do that. All right, we're going to put this back together. Let me get the drain. All right, on the drain plug, this has a metal ring, metal gasket right there. Those are the good ones. The ones that have the nylon on them, you got to replace those every time you change the oil, because those nylons just don't reseal. We got ourselves the Amsoil oil filter from those guys over at trustedoil.com. This is a 15,000 mile filter, and the oil is actually good for 25,000 miles or 1 year. And like I was telling you, is that you want to put some oil on that gasket right there. It doesn't have to be a lot, you know, just enough so it seals. And this is just regular, well, we got Amsoil engine oil in the squirt can. The reason that Amsoil redid their filters to 15,000 miles was because of the tight spaces that these guys are in, and they don't get the airflow, so you have to change them every 15,000 miles. Now, typically, you bottom out the oil filter, and then you give it a 3/4 turn, which you can usually do that by hand. If you can't use a wrench, I mean, hand tight is sufficient for us. And like I said, if you need to use a wrench, just put the wrench on there and just give it just a little 1/4 turn. You know, no more than a full turn after it's bottomed out. I mean, that's, you're going to start crushing the gasket and creating a leak. So the oil filter's on. Now we'll go ahead and put the drain plug in. Put your drain plug back in there. Good time to get a rag and wipe off the oil pan and everything else down here, and yeah, make it all nice and shiny. And same thing with the drain plug. They don't want to be no more than 22 to 27, 33 foot-pounds max torque on these guys. You can do it with a little 3/8 socket. You don't need to get the 1/2-inch breaker bar out. Alright, so the drain plug's in, oil filter's on, nice and snug. Go ahead and put this protection cap back on, and then we're going to go ahead and fill this up with oil, and we are pretty much done with the Hyundai Elantra oil change. And with the customer only drives 12,000 miles a year anyway, so it's once a year oil change for her. She gets 12,000 miles out of the Amsoil, and the oil filter is good for 15, but she still changes it at 12 because it can only take out so much water, and that's the condensation from the car sitting and getting hot and cooling down. Alright, these are all buttoned up. We're just going to snuff them up with the wrench, and we'll go ahead and fill it up with oil. And this car is done. Alright, the car is getting the good stuff, the Amsoil 5W-20. If you noticed on some of the newer cars that you're seeing the 5W-20 oil fill, and some of them are even coming up with 0W-20 or 0W-30. The newer engines have tighter tolerances between the valve journals and the oil guides and your camshafts and crankshafts and all your bearings, and they just can't do the 530 that they used to. Always have a clean funnel too. There we go. We're going to put the good stuff in there. Fill it up with the good stuff. I'd like to thank the guys over at trustedoil.com for sending us this Amsoil. Order quite a bit from those guys. They're pretty good. They've got a nice application on their website. If you don't know what type of oil your car takes, and if you don't know what filter to get, you can put your information in, and it's real nice. It tells you what you can put in there, and it gives you a bunch of different recommendations of filters. And you can put the best stuff in. You can put their 12,000 mile in, or you can put their OEM oil fill, which basically tells you to change it at the manufacturer's change level. We like putting the good stuff in. It's only a couple dollars more, and it's got a better wear protection and better additive package than the cheap stuff. I don't even mean to use cheap, I just mean use the less expensive. Alright, make sure you always have this open here. This is a vent. This allows the air to come out. You could actually contaminate some PVC systems, or PCV, positive crankcase ventilation, excuse me. Just doing plumbing earlier, got the pipe in my brain. Anyway, your PCV valve systems you can clog. If you have this clogged, the oil can just make a mess. So always have that open for a vent. And I like to put a little in and pull the dipstick, and you're about halfway there. Just old school, you know. I like to keep an eye on what I'm doing. And of course, after you do get it to the full level, you want to start the car. Let the oil go into the oil filter, and see right there, it's actually at the full mark. So what I'm going to do is button everything back up and start the car, and then check the oil fill level after it's gone into the filter. And of course, you know the old saying, check for leaks. Got to fill the washer fluid up, and we're done with the car here. Just got to top it off. We take care of all of our customers. What we usually do is we'll check their tire pressure and check their washer fluid and check the air filter, and we'll check all the fluids for them before we send them back out. Little maintenance goes a long way. If you properly take care of your vehicle, check your fluids, keep them clean, change them when they're supposed to be changed, put a good high quality synthetic fluid in the car, keep your tires rotated, keep the tire pressure up. Just spend a couple hours every month on your vehicle. It will far supersede the last thing. Unless you get hit by lightning. You get hit by lightning, then a big hole in the roof, you can't really help that problem, you know. But, you know, change the belts. Simple stuff. Simple stuff. We're actually going to take a car here, and we're going to do a spring, and we're going to do a fall, and we're going to show you how to do everything. But this is a simple oil change. So